All right, everybody, welcome to episode 15 of the Ginger and
Soul Podcast. Today's episode is all about Spider-Man No Way Home. We're going to talk about what we liked, what we didn't like, and we're going to preview the next couple upcoming superhero movies. David's going to tell us why he loved Matrix Revolutions. And and then unfortunately this is breaking news. John Madden has passed away, so we're going to talk about his legacy, and we'll end on a little football talk with the quarterback carousel and which quarterbacks will be on the move this coming off season. So let's start off with Spider-Man No Way Home. David, why don't you kick us off here? What you think of the movie? What you like, what you didn't like, and are you excited for what's next in the MCU?
yeah, I definitely think that Tom Holland, and we talked about this off camera, but he definitely cemented himself as the best Spider-Man
Yeah.
for sure.
Yes.
Yeah, I think he showed that pretty clearly, and so that was dope. I'm not going to lie though, I came in with very, very, very high expectations because
Yes.
of how much people talked about it. And there were a couple things that let me down, but there were also a couple things that I really liked.
Real quick,
So
before you dive in here, did people not like the first two films of the Tom Holland series? I thought they were both excellent. Like, did people not like
you know what?
them?
I liked the first one. I didn't like the second one as much. I wasn't really fucking
Interesting.
too much with the second one. I
I
thought it was
felt
a little like, okay.
I felt the kind of opposite. I thought the first one was okay. It was like a nice intro to Tom, but there was too much Tony Stark in it.
Mm,
And then Jake Gyllenhaal as a villain was
mm.
kind of interesting to me. Like, I thought he did a really cool job, and I like that Tom Holland had to outsmart him in the end. So, but yeah, I mean, I get what you're saying. I was just surprised, people on the internet kind of maybe it was just from what I was seeing, were kind of bashing the first two, which I thought were all in agreement that those two movies were pretty good.
So I guess I'll start with the things I didn't like that much. And I think that they could have done the villains a little bit better. I thought Lizard Man looked fucking stupid. The
They shouldn't have
CGI.
yeah, they shouldn't have included him. He was a bad villain. Well, I think it was because the Garfield villains were so bad that it was hard to find a second one.
Yeah, dude.
Because all right, well, we'll get Jamie Foxx done, but it's all right after that. It's Lizard Man,
Yeah.
Harry Osborn's already in the first one, and we got to get him. Anyway.
Yeah, the villains really didn't do too much during the movie, I felt like, other than Green Goblin obviously killing Aunt
By the way,
May.
lots of spoilers coming in this episode. So
Oh yeah, yeah.
if you don't
We're
want the whole
dropping
thing
spoiler
spoiled,
bombs.
yeah, and so yeah, May fucking dies. Deal with
Yeah,
it.
yeah, she's dead.
That's the only
And
spoiler in my opinion, though. Sorry, go ahead.
yeah, but the villains, I thought that they were they didn't. I wasn't that worried about the villains as I was watching the movie, and I like superhero movies with a really compelling villain who I
Hmm.
hate, but I didn't really hate any of these villains. If anything, they were more just comic relief, like corny dialogue, just comedy, obviously with Jamie Foxx, Sandman. I thought Dr. Ock's dialogue was kind of was kind of ridiculous too. And so the villains I wasn't too hot about, but it definitely loved seeing the boys come back, Garfield and Toby. Um, Toby's a legend. Everybody loves him. But I definitely think that Garfield was acting his ass off, trying to get some people to put some respect on his name. So you could tell that Garfield was trying extra hard this time around to try to make a statement. I think he just had a lot of lines of dialogue, but also they had this weird moment in the movie where Garfield was like, yeah, you don't want to end up like how I ended up after Gwen died. And we were and it was just you got to show us. We don't really. It's just you're just saying that in two lines of dialogue. We don't really care. Um, and but what I really liked about the movie was the end. I thought the ending was the one of the best parts of the movie because I've been always saying this about this trilogy. of Spider-Man, and I always thought that Tom Holland would have to make a decision like this eventually. And I thought that the way they played it with him I feel like he's going from Peter Parker to Spider-Man. And I think that's sort of his transition in this movie. So I really, really like that ending. I just thought there were some parts in the middle, other than there was obviously dope action, and it was dope seeing Tom Holland do dope stuff, and obviously Zendaya, fire, she's a banger. Dude, Tom Holland, man, you look at that guy's body, dude, and you're like, man, I don't think there's any other option for us, Jake. I think that we just have to get shredded, dude. I really think that there's no other choice. I mean, look what he's doing.
I like his look though. Like all the other Marvel guys, like that like Chris Evans and Hemsworth, those bodies are not obtainable, and Chris Pratt as well. Like they're so bulky and big. It's like that's not you'd have to be on a mission. Or who's the I can't pronounce his name, but the guy on the Eternals also got like that. But Tom Holland's is all right, it's Kumal. Like that body's also not really attainable. But Tom's is slim, washboard. It's that's possible. I can reach a quarter of that. That's all.
Tom Holland is Shredville, dude. He is Shredville.
For sure. Any more thoughts?
I'm trying to think of other big moments in the movie. That scene on the bridge was pretty dope when he first runs into Dr. Ock. And then
that fight was badass.
That was pretty cool.
Oh, yeah. Well, for me, the best scene was when that was a great scene, and then when Tom just starts punching the shit out of Green Goblin, and there's a couple things about this movie I would have changed, just out of preference, and I wanted Tom to execute that motherfucker, because he earned that one. He earned it, dude. He was destroying him, and what clearly you brought this up, I don't even think there's a debate anymore. Tom Holland's the GOAT. All right, he destroyed every villain and Doctor Strange all in one movie. It's over. The debate's over. Every Spider-Man villain in history, he beat them not even a scratch, dude. It was a walk in the park. And so I thought he had some pretty tough competition there, and he beat them all. The only thing, there are some things, not that I didn't like, but I would change. I guess I wanted Tom to kill him, but it was cool that he was able to fix all the villains. All right, I'll give Marvel that. That was kind of cool. The ending, I'll just jump right to the ending. It's just I wanted a cornier ending. Here's what it is. So they do the spell or whatever, and then everyone forgets him. That's fine. Maybe even Ned forgets him, and then he goes up to Zendaya, and Zendaya looks at him. He goes, "Oh, hey, Peter," something like that, and then it cuts to black. That's the movie. Boom. Because you don't want to see a man lose that much to lose a baddie like Zendaya. You just hate to see it. So I wanted something like that at the end where he still keeps Zendaya, but he probably still does. It's Marvel. There's not consequences to your action, so and Zendaya's coming back that'd be weird.
Well, we'll actually get into that though about the future of the series if Tom Holland does come back, because that is up in the air.
He's coming back, dude. He's the face of Marvel now. That's Robert Downey. He's now the new face of Marvel, because there's no Chris Evans and there's no Robert Downey, like I just said, and Ruffalo was irrelevant, but it's not Benedict Cumberbatch or Chris Hemsworth's kind of done too. I mean, it's kind of just Tom Holland at this point. I think you just go all in on that basket and have Doctor Strange in there too. What was the other thing I wanted to change? Oh, not that I wanted to change, but it was when Tom Holland was fighting Doctor Strange, I was definitely rooting for Doctor Strange to win that fight.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah, because Tom was so in the wrong. He was just
Tom Holland was in the wrong the whole. I'm sorry,
the whole movie.
Rest in peace, Aunt May. She was in the wrong, dude. And that was not a good move.
What was she in the wrong for again? I forget.
She told Peter to bring in all the guys,
Oh,
right? She was like,
yeah, 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 yeah.
she was like, we help people, but it's like, bitch.
Yeah, bring these violent serial killers into our home, and we'll just have them, and we'll just have them hang out here.
With great power comes great responsibility. Well, not a lot of responsibility, huh, Aunt May?
Aunt May's so fine, though. I mean, to lose Aunt May and Zendaya in one movie is pretty rough. I don't know.
I know, dude.
All
He should have
because
hit.
Aunt May. Foul. Oh my goodness. I thought it was a great movie though. I mean, I thought it was, up there with Infinity War. Infinity War is my favorite Marvel. I'd say Infinity War and the first Iron Man are like my top two. And then, maybe the Spider-Man movies right up there. It was great. I love that they brought in Tobey Maguire. Oh, dude. Okay, this is what I wanted to discuss. Andrew Garfield is like a distant third, and when it comes to these Spider-Man rankings, all right, like his action scenes are like kind of cool, so like it kind of disguises the fact that he's terrible in these movies. He cries in every scene, dude. Everything is crying, and he's been through like nothing. Like, it's a joke, dude. Like, I can't stand Andrew Garfield's Spider-Man. Even though to be fair, I never saw his movies, so I don't know. But like
Really?
in this movie, no, they just look bad. Like you can see.
What's funny? I don't know how the reaction was in your theater, but when I was in my theater, because Andrew Garfield, he's the first one to walk through the portal, and that was a really dope scene too when they both came through.
Yeah, it was.
But when he took off his mask and it was Garfield, the whole theater was like, And then
it was kind of like
everyone was like, whoa!
That's great.
That's my Spider-Man, bitch.
Everyone like kind of gasped. I mean, I knew they were gonna be there, so it wasn't like a big thing to me. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like that. It was kind of leaked that they were coming, so I wasn't like blown away by that twist. And I think it was great that they're both there, even though one of them is vastly superior.
Yeah, I mean that's why the movie sold so many tickets, right?
Yeah.
Right, because everyone. But the question is. Can you watch it twice and have the same experience like the first time you saw it,
Yeah, because nothing was a surprise to me, other than Aunt May dying. And Aunt May dying was like the only like thing I would say is a spoiler. Like, if you didn't know Toby and Andrew weren't gonna be in the movie, like, then you did a really good job avoiding like spoilers and like the news and everything. Like,
yeah,
you know what I mean?
Living under a rock, yeah.
But it's also like all right, like they didn't reveal that those two were in it, but it's like, well, every villain from their movies is gonna be in it, but not the two Spider-Men. Like, that's kind of weird. That'd be strange. I just thought it was like a given that they were gonna show up at some point.
So here's another question then. What happens now? Because like you said, he beat up all the main villains. So what's next for him to fight as far as like Spider-Man villains?
So like, I'm a big Spider-Man fan. Like, I think he's a really cool superhero, and like I kind of watch like the '90s Spider-Man a little bit, and like
I know what you're getting into.
They're gonna give him his own Sinister Six is like the next step, I imagine, because now it's like this guy has fought Thanos, like Doctor Strange, and like all the Spider-Man villains in history. Is like the only thing that's going to stop him now is like an army of villains, or at least even challenge him at this point. So like,
or
that's
what
probably
about
what they'll do.
this for the next Avengers movie? Because you said you watched the '90s show. Do you remember the multiverse part of the '90s show with Galactus? So I wonder if they try to pull that, because Spider-Man was really important to that whole multiverse thing. He's sort of like the way Flash was important to the multiverse in DC. Spider-Man's kind of like the main focus of the multiverse in like the show, in those comics. So I wonder if they set him up for like a big Galactus fight, like him, Doctor Strange, that other chick, Brie Larson.
Yeah. I think the next Avengers movie, he's going to be a big part. He has to be a big part of, because like what we said, like what we were talking about, it's like he's kind of the face of Marvel now going forward. Because it's like, so it's going to be him and Doctor Strange, and then you could put whatever superheroes you want around that. Maybe they bring back Iron Man or some shit, but like they'll figure it out. Like they Marvel's just done a great job, and like the stories just like flow so well, like it just all works. So speaking of the future, the next big Marvel movie is the Doctor Strange movie, but there was another big trailer that was in the theater, and there were some really horrible movies coming out, but like there's also a couple really cool ones, and one of them was the Batman trailer. I'm like,
Ooh.
I was very skeptical because Robert Pattinson is, you know, whatever, as like, you know, as an actor, but like that movie looks really cool. So what movie are you more excited for? The new Batman movie or the new Doctor Strange?
Oh, definitely the new Batman movie, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, dude. Fucking I'm ready, dude. I'm ramped up.
Yeah.
And it's the Riddler too. Ooh, baby. And it's gonna be a
Yeah.
good Riddler and not like a, Michael Keaton Riddler. So like it's gonna be fucking
When
lit.
Jim Carrey played him, dude, that was terrible.
Yeah, yeah. And Robert P's been on kind of a roll, Tenet, The Lighthouse, so he's been acting. So he's been, he's been building up hatred inside his heart. That's what he's been doing ever since the Twilight series. He's built for this, dude. I mean, dude, he's about to go off. So, but it's also DC, so I can't get my hopes too high because even though they're fire with the animated movies, they've been fucking up everything else. So like, we gotta like approach with caution,
Is Christopher Nolan directing this one, or is it somebody else?
No, it's someone else. I don't know who's directing it.
Yeah, but Robert
I don't think
Pattinson
it's.
looks.
Oh, Matt Reeves is directing it.
Oh, I don't know what that is.
Oh fuck, that might not be good actually.
Why? What else has he done?
He did like 2 Planet of the Apes, and he did Cloverfield.
The plot in Planet of the Apes was terrible, but like the action was kind of cool. So
the action's dope. Yeah.
You know, it's like for Batman, like, and since like I guess this might be controversial, but I thought Affleck was like awful. So like anything above that, like, is a success at this point. Like, you know, it's a pretty low bar. You have to jump over.
That's not controversial, dude. Like, yeah, you're 100%.
I thought he was
right.
terrible. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I thought Batman vs Superman, especially, was like, wow. Like, this is a terrible movie.
Yeah, I do not remember that movie at all, and I saw it, and I'm telling you, I have zero memory of that movie or what happened. But
like
have you seen the teaser? Yeah, we can talk about.
We'll get into it in a second.
Have you seen the teaser for Into the Spider-Verse 2? I'm pretty torqued about that.
Yeah, I'm gonna be real though, dude. I didn't think the first one at all. I just didn't hit.
Really?
Like, I just didn't.
My
maybe
God.
Maybe because I saw it on a plane. Like I was like, this is not for me. Like, dude, you know,
we're gonna cancel you, Ginger.
That's fair.
We're gonna cancel you.
It's like the most universally loved movie of like our lifetime, and I'm just like, I've never heard like a negative thing about that movie ever, and I'm just sitting here like I don't get it. I just don't. So, you know, maybe the second one will catch my attention. Maybe I'll go see it in the theater. And when is that coming out?
No clue. Probably like sometime next year, maybe the year after. I'm not sure.
I will say it's really well animated, so I'm sure those take a while to make. Like
did you see that trailer for that Morbius movie they're trying to do, the vampire guy?
Yeah, that looks absolutely terrible.
Dude, that is concerning, like how bad that looks, dude.
Why would you put that out? Like
yeah, can we get rid of Jared Leto, dude? Like, do we need Jared Leto anymore? Like in life?
The same people that are gonna watch that, the same people who are like really obsessed with this Hawkeye show or the what's the one? The one with Wanda. I was gonna say let's dive into this Doctor Strange trailer. Hype for that.
I think I watched WandaVision. I really liked it. But no, so
just shit all over it. You know, I haven't even seen it, so.
So I mean, I do think that character has a lot of potential, but I don't think I'm not like dying to see them on screen. You know what I mean? Like, it's not something that is like super necessary for me, you know, which I think is a big problem with the MCU right now is like they have Tom Holland, who's like Spider-Man is still like technically owned by Sony. So like we almost didn't get this movie because they almost weren't able to come to a deal.
Yeah.
And it's like on the back burner. They're like loading up like Doctor Strange and Wanda. It's like, yo, you gotta like give us some heat. Like I know Thor, I think, is supposed to be coming back in Guardians of
Yeah.
the Galaxy, I think.
Dude,
So that'll, but
that's gonna
yeah,
be sick, the Thor one. What they've done with Thor
yeah,
recently, like, is great because I've never like the first two Thor movies. I haven't seen them, so they just look like shit. Like they just look terrible. But then I
yeah,
saw
yeah,
the
yeah.
Ragnarok one, and it was incredible, and he was great in Infinity War. Whatever Endgame, like the more I watch Endgame, the less I like it. But like, what
Mm,
anyway? He was badass in Infinity War, and it's just like, all right, like I'm down to see where they
yeah,
take this character from there. So I'm sure he's gonna go goat mode again.
yeah. What about you? What do you think of it?
Oh, dude, I think it looks great. I like that the whole thing. Like, I just like the whole trippiness of it. Like, you know what I mean?
Mm.
And like, I'm sure there's gonna be lots of twists and turns and whatnot. And if you saw, did you watch the What If stuff?
No, I think I saw the one episode where Black Panther is like a part of a gang that like robs people.
Yeah, that one was okay. Like,
Dude, I love the way I put that. The one where Black Panther is part of a gang that robs people.
no, he joins.
Zing.
So what? Well, yeah. What he does is he basically Black Panther becomes Chris Pratt. You know what I mean in the movies.
Yes,
Yeah, yeah.
yes.
So that one was fine. Like, but like they bring it together and like basically like I won't spoil anything because you should watch it. But like there's like an evil version of Doctor Strange, and that's what they show in the trailer. Kind of hint at in the trailer.
Mm,
So like I was like, oh, okay, like this is from the other stuff. Like this looks sick. So
yeah.
I think it's gonna be a badass movie. And Benedict Cumberbatch does a great job as Doctor Strange. I kind of wanted more of him in the movie, in the Spider-Man movie.
Mm,
I wish him and
yeah.
Spider-Man like kind of fought together instead of against each other.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
so Um, all right. Any more on Marvel? It's pretty hyped to be a superhero fan now because now, I mean, the pandemic's obviously surging again, but like they've finished all these movies for the most part. I'm sure they're just editing at them at this point, and it's like
Yeah.
we're gonna get like a slew of heat here. I think, or as we talked about. So the big upcoming projects are just to review, obviously Batman, but that's DC. Um, Doctor Strange. Spider-Man already dropped, which was fire. Oh, what do you think? Here's an interesting theory that I've kind of thought about. What do you think's gonna
Mm.
happen with Ned? Do you think he's become like important going forward? Like like do you think he's gonna be like working with Doctor Strange and get powers? Because I think I have a kind of a theory because he kind of Doctor Strange is impressed that he opened the portal and they hinted at it's like, oh, I won't become like a villain and try to kill you like that other best friend guy. I was like, what if what if Ned becomes like a menace and like fights Spider-Man, Peter Parker? Like, I don't know. That was a theory bouncing around in
That
my
that
head.
that that that's a pretty good theory. Are there any like magical villains that Spider-Man face that Ned could become? That's an interesting question.
David, why don't they just make an original movie? God forbid they come up with their own character. Stanley
You
came
know
up with
what?
this shit in
Honestly,
the
though, dude.
40s.
You know what, dude? Honestly, dude, I'm ready to get rid of Ned, dude. I'm sorry.
Yes.
I'm sorry. It's time to get rid of Ned. They should have brought that little blonde shorty that he was macking on a little bit from the last movie. They should have brought her back to give him something because I think that this movie could have focused way more on Holland and Zendaya's relationship. But seeing Ned as like the funny third wheel guy, it's like, dude, I'm not in high school. You know what I mean? So I don't need this. Like I don't need you, Ned. I like you're a funny guy, but dude, we can throw you in the portal, or you can go work with Doctor Strange. That's fine too. Go be because I guess what he could be the next you know like one of those guys, or maybe is the plot going to be that his like family long ago was like because he got
That would be
the
boring.
brass knuckle.
Yeah.
He got the brass knuckles, right? That's what makes him do that.
Yeah, he I think cuz Spider-Man stole it from Doctor Strange and he just gave it to he's like, "Here you go, Ned." And then Ned got it to work. Uh and then
Oh,
but
yeah.
you're supposed to like train to do that. So that I thought that was interesting that he could just do it. He figured it out. And I think Doctor Strange was like impressed like, "Did you open a portal? Like that's not like easy. Like
Yeah,
so
yeah.
that's why I was kind of like I was like maybe there's something going on here. I don't know. Like just a theory. That has no fact at all. um, all right, so you saw Matrix Resurrections. I was gonna say Revolution, Resurrections. This movie looked terrible from the trailer, so I had no interest. But what did you think of the movie?
Yeah, definitely the greatest movie of all time. Like
Oh, is it actually?
100%.
So it's good.
No,
Oh,
no, no, no.
because I was gonna say. Okay, wait, go ahead. Sorry.
I mean, I wasn't like disappointed with it because I kind of figured I was like, okay, there's either two things that this movie's going to be. It's either going to be literally the greatest movie of all time, or it's going to be terrible, right?
Mhm.
And it was just it basically it's a movie about the Matrix. So everything is just super on the nose, like a lot of fan service, a lot of just like cheesy, like basically like you can't do the Matrix again unless you do something completely different because we already the concept of the Matrix is so ingrained in pop culture that like it's not going to be like interesting when you do it again, right? So
Mhm.
they basically like just did it again essentially. Like they essentially just kind of did the first one again.
Mm.
And it was just and not as good. Um and I mean it was fun, don't get me wrong, there were some fun parts to it, but it's just like it's eye roll inducing, dude. Your eyes are going to be looking at the back of your head like the whole movie.
Yeah, I think what turned me off from the trailer was like I was watching. It's like why is it's like Keanu Reeves is just like living his daily life and like he's like taking these like pills and stuff and like it's like all right, like the whole movie is just gonna show in the Matrix again, I guess. And it's
Yeah,
like
yeah.
we did this, we did this already, and he looks old and like I'm excited to see him. And if they make John Wick, I'll be first in line to see that. But like
Yeah.
he's badass in that, and they all and what they do with John Wick, they always make sure to end on a cliffhanger. So I mean, I'm kind of invested in a way, so I would see him in that. But to me, like
Yeah.
we did Matrix already, and the last two were kind of duds, So yeah.
Yeah.
Want to do quarterback carousel, or should we end with, or do you want to talk with Madden? Talk about Madden.
Yeah, let's talk about Madden. John Madden died today at the tender age of 85. Legend in coaching, commentating, and obviously the video game that we grew up on, that all of our listeners probably grew up on, those who are listening. And yeah, it's just, I guess I don't have too much to say about it, but, rest in peace, what a legend. I hope his family is getting them good royalties off every Madden copy. And yeah, just, yeah, anything to say, Ginger?
Yeah, I do. I actually do have a lot to say because, well, you're my age. Do you remember growing up? Because John Madden was still on TV. He was on, I think, either Monday or Sunday Night Football. He was nearing the end of his career, but I thought
He
he's the
was.
so you remember his games. I think he's the best color analyst of all time, personally. So like just the way he called games was so fun, and he's definitely missed. He's no one's really brought that since him. Like Collinsworth has been nice, but like it's not the same. Like no one has had that energy. So I remember him as a broadcaster for sure. And I didn't even see the peak years. It's just ironic because I was pumped for the documentary. I watched the documentary, and it's just like, damn, a week later he's gone. Like that's crazy. So it's like, I encourage all of you to watch the documentary. I'm sure they'll put it up on YouTube. All Madden. It was by Fox. And you just see all the great people he's worked with, and obviously, growing up, Madden video games were the shit. I mean, people still play them today, but they don't look. They look terrible. Like I don't know. I want to get back in
Yeah.
so bad though, but they just look lame. Maybe like if we're when we the future Ginger and Soul will play each other on Madden and see how that goes
Yeah.
because both our teams are good at least. So we can kind of rage about Madden there, but like,
You,
yeah, I
you
mean
know,
the
I
video
read.
games will live on. Go ahead, go ahead.
Yeah, I read something really interesting about Madden. How John Madden actually originally envisioned Madden as an educational tool to teach people about the game, and
Mm-hmm.
also as a way for teams to be able to run like simulations of plays and stuff like that. And so
Mm.
I thought that was really interesting, like how he envisioned the game, which kind of really makes sense. I mean, at the time, right, video games are first starting to come out, and you're kind of wondering like, oh, what are the creative ways that like a football game can be used for? And the way that he was thinking, like, oh, to like practice plays and kind of simulate it is really interesting, I thought.
Yeah, and Madden, the video game is like revolutionized the sports gaming industry because like from there now we see 2K, now we saw NCAA later, but like Madden was like kind of real the first legitimate like realistic sports game to a degree. Obviously, if you look back, it does look realistic now, but like back in the day, like those are revolutionary. And there's a part of the documentary where it's like, oh, maybe we shouldn't include the offensive line. It's like, no, I want it to be like the game. I need like all the offensive line in. And I don't remember when you saw Anthony Davis came to LA and he was like, oh yeah, I made sure to practice with LeBron to see like what it'd be like on 2K before we did in real life. Like that's kind of shows you um, his vision has been realized. It's crazy those games still make over $1 billion, dude. Can you believe that?
I know, and what's crazy is with Madden, it's like it's one of the games that with football, like you can't really be elite at that game if you don't kind of understand football in some level, right?
Mm-hmm.
I think it's kind of different. Like with 2K, there's a lot of like just like people putting up shots, you know what I mean? But I think Madden's one of those games that like a lot of people don't play because when you play it, you will like if you don't know anything about football, you will get intimidated, right? You'll look at the play, you'll be like, what the fuck? You'll just click random shit, you know what I mean? And
Yeah,
so which I did as a kid, but I didn't realize like as I got older I started to realize how like in depth the game actually is compared to a lot of other games.
yeah, and when I've played people that were like are on football teams and whatnot, and it's like it's not fun playing against those guys because they actually know what cover four, cover three, like those really mean. Like like I know like the difference between zone and like blitz. Like that's kind of like my
Yeah.
I have surface level knowledge of football, and most of us do. So it's like when you play someone that's really good at it, and that shows you the detail Madden's gone to. There was that's the other thing. Back to your point about Madden was made to be an educational game. There's a great part of the documentary because Madden in football, when as a coach, he retired at 40, like really young. So
Mm.
he retired after 10 years. He won a Super Bowl, but he was just he didn't have anything left in the tank, I guess, or whatever. So he still has the best winning percentage of like any coach, over 100 wins. That's the big stat. But the point is, like after he retired, his first job before he became a commentator was he taught a class at Berkeley on how to watch football. So like that, I know, crazy, right?
Damn.
So I know, so because I guess there's like a proper way to watch it or things to look for when you're watching. So like he taught it for men and women, and like just so people would understand the game a little bit better. And
Damn, what a
yeah,
legend.
did you know about this Madden bus thing he did?
No, no. What?
Okay, so like as a commentator, he like was flying to one of the games, and then he had like he hated flying, and so he had like a big panic attack, and so he's like, all right, I'm never flying again. And apparently the man, and he's dead now, so he has not taken a flight since like the 80s. So he takes this bus.
Damn.
He like built, not either built or like bought this bus, and like he would drive all across the country to like every single game or anything he had to do. Like you know what I mean? Like it's
Oh, what a
crazy.
savage.
Yeah. So that was really cool to see the bus and all the stories, and him and Favre apparently had a big relationship going, which is perfect. Match made in heaven, those
Damn.
two. All right, we'll move on because we spent a little bit of time on this, but just from watching the documentary, here's the play-by-play guys that Madden got to work with. Well, his first game, they test him out with this young guy named Bob Costas. I think we all
Oh
are familiar
shit.
with it. Yeah, it was. They had him call like a USC game, and like Bob Costas was the guy, so he got to call games with Bob Costas, Vin Scully, Al
Ah.
Michaels, Brent
Ah.
Musburger, and of course Pat
Ah.
Summerall. So it's like, damn, that's like that's like all of the greatest play-by-play guys. Like you might as well just call one with Marv Albert just because like that's
Damn.
crazy. Yeah.
Damn. Oh,
I
man.
can't.
Yeah, I'm sure there's a lot of very sad sports legends right now, sports commentators. That's crazy.
I can't imagine. Like that's so like Vince Scully. Like as a Dodger fan, he's been calling games. He doesn't call games anymore because he's in his 90s. But like I can't imagine a game with listening to a football game with Vince Scully and John Madden. That would be the great.
Yeah.
That'd be the greatest. That'd be the greatest. I was
That would
shocked they
be.
chose Summerall over Scully, but I guess Scully's so loyal to baseball. It was like you wanted a football guy with Madden. So this could be one of the craziest off seasons in NFL history because we have several elite and several not so elite, but big name quarterbacks on the move this offseason. So the biggest name, of course, Aaron Rodgers. And if you think they should stay on their team, say that. But what are some names that of teams that come to mind when you think of these quarterbacks? So we'll start with Aaron Rodgers, like I mentioned.
A really good team for him.
Um,
New
all right, I have some in
Orleans
mind
needs a
then.
New Orleans needs a quarterback.
Yeah, I'm gonna say New Orleans for almost all of these, dude, because like that's a team just once you get a quarterback there, oof, they're gonna be solid. So the ones that have been rumored is like Denver, which I don't get. Like, why would he go there? And it's just I get why you're pondering it though, because it's like you're looking at Aaron Rodgers. Like, what situation in the NFL is better than Green Bay? You have an elite O line. You have Devontae Adams. You have Aaron Jones. You have a improving defense. With a lot of injuries right now, but it's gonna get better. You have a great coach. Not a lot of teams have these things. But I think the Steelers is the destination. But the problem with the Steelers though is that their receiving core is kind of falling apart here. You know what I mean? Like if Claypool
And Rodgers
can ever
is big on
yeah.
receivers.
Yeah, well, I mean, you gotta have them.
Yeah.
It's nice to have Devontae Adams isn't exactly common across the league. So I mean, I just think him and Tomlin would be sick, and you give him a toy like Najee Harris, like I think that, and they obviously have one of the best defenses in the league. So to me, that'd be my number one destination for him. But I mean, that's the one where it's like, maybe he should just stay in Green Bay, dude. Like, maybe he should just ride it out, especially if they win the Super Bowl this year. It's like, why would you leave? I don't know. So,
Yeah.
All right. Next on the list is obviously Russell Wilson. To me, there's no way he can stay there. I think it's over. That team is just dying to just be exploded. So, I've slandered them so much on this pod. Like, people are gonna think I hate the Seahawks. It's like I actually really like them. Like,
No,
that's
you
the
really,
funny
yeah.
part.
I mean, you really like Russell Wilson, and it's sad to see him in the situation he's in. But I could see, I definitely see hustle like Russell going to New Orleans, dude. I feel like he would be
Yeah.
great in that city. I feel like they would accept him with open arms. I can see him in Denver, Colorado, home of soul. But
I can't see him in those.
I can't
ugly-ass
see him there.
uniforms.
Yeah, too orange, too snowy. New Orleans, I think great place. Him and Kamara and Russell have a lot of fun there. But yeah, you're right. It is his time to go. What do you think where he can land?
Yeah, I agree with you. I think him on the Saints is the perfect fit because you give him those kinds of weapons. The O line probably could use some work, but it's better than what he has. And then you have Kamara in that defense. I mean, let it ride. And you got a great coach in Sean Payton. I mean, what's not to like? Incredible fan base. You play all your games inside. So yeah, I think that's the perfect fit. The big rumor is the Giants or the Jets, but like those teams are so bad.
Oh.
Like, why would he want to go there? It's just because they're in New York, and like his wife is gonna have a big impact on his decision. Is kind of the big rumor. Like she doesn't like living in Seattle, and she wants to live in like a
I'm
bigger
sure she
market.
doesn't.
Yeah, so she wants to live in a big market like LA, Chicago, or New York. But it's like none of the LA teams are looking for quarterbacks.
Yeah. What did Stafford get signed to in LA?
They traded so much for him though. It's like you gotta just ride that out, whatever deal they have. I don't know his contract. All right. Let's keep going here. Let's go with your favorite quarterback, Jimmy G. Do you think there's a destination for him? And he's hurt once again. Great timing, of course. but his season could be over. But where do you think he could go? What do you think like his trade value would be?
Um, Jimmy G, I think that his ceiling is starting to become lower as the more injuries he gets. I don't really see him going anywhere too soon. I think he'll go the season after they prove that Trey Lance is a solid quarterback if they ever get that shot. But I think that Shanahan's a pretty big Jimmy G believer. And I mean, I could see him going to a place like Denver, but I think that's almost like last like desperate like situation. And yeah, I think that San Francisco is gonna try to ride with him as long as possible. So I don't really see him getting traded until like a few more years. But I don't think anything's gonna happen like too soon.
I gotta disagree. I think they really will like this. That they want this Trey Lance guy. They gave up so much for
Mm,
him, and like
mm.
and then did you see that tweet that the GM John Lynch liked? There was a big scandal. Um,
No, no. What is that?
so after they lost the Tennessee game, John Lynch liked this tweet that it was like a meme that said basically like the Niners about to leave Jimmy G in Tennessee and like the plane's taking off and like stuff like that.
Really?
Yeah, so he liked the tweet and he's like, "Oh, I did it on accident." Da, da, da. Da. It's like I think the writing's kind of on the wall here. I think this is gonna be like kind of an off the wall one, but I was thinking like
Okay.
maybe he goes to like a Carolina. I think Carolina would be like an interesting fit for him. They have kind of some weapons around there. So I think and Carolina can kind
Ooh,
of trade
oh my
like
God. I would love to see that bum Jimmy G get sent over to Carolina. Yeah, I'll show my true colors
because
now.
like
Yeah, I don't like Jimmy G.
all Patriots fans just dislike Jerry Jeudy. It's so funny. It's like he's not that bad. Like I'm not saying he's Tom Brady, but like
It's because the
he's decent.
disrespect they were putting on our man's name, dude.
Yeah,
Yeah,
he's
you
hot.
replace him with Jimmy G. Yeah, fuck off, dude. Where this bum and his bum thumb going now to fucking
All
Carolina,
right.
or they probably send him to Indy because Wentz won't get vaxxed.
Ooh, there you go. Him and Indy. Wait a minute. That might be something. I can see it. I like that. I like that one. I like that one. I don't like any quarterback in Denver. I hope they keep Drew Lock. All right. Let's talk about Deshaun Watson. Where's a good spot? Where's a good spot for him? Assuming all this clears up.
Assuming it's not a jail
In,
cell.
yeah, in a hypothetical world where he's innocent. I don't. I'm not a lawyer, but I don't know what he's done. They'll let me know what his punishment is. But for
Well, listen,
now,
New Orleans is like 60% black. You know what I mean? So if Deshaun Watson has any chance of surviving in any market, you definitely got to send the boy down south. Um, but but yeah, I mean, he's another player that maybe like Indy could pick up because I don't think that the Carson Wentz situation will be lasting too long.
ooh,
Um, so yeah, that's another. Indy's good at picking up these guys, and I could see. I'll go with Indy. I'll go with a crazy hypothetical situation. They boot Wentz and sign Watson.
him on Indy would be filthy. Um, the other team that someone brought up was the Miami Dolphins. I think well, not
Mm,
somebody. This has been long rumored. The Dolphins really want him. That would
mm,
be nice because I didn't realize how good Miami was. Like
mm,
their core is great. They have a good coach, good defense. I don't know if they have a good running back, but Jalen Waddle is obviously a stud.
mm.
So I kind of watched them for the first time. I was like, I could see him there, but that's a crazy one. Him on Indy. But here's what I would really do. If I'm the Browns,
Okay.
dude. If I'm the Browns, I say name your
Oh.
price. I'll give you whatever you want, except Chubb or Miles Garrett. You can have anything on the roster, picks, whatever you want. Just give us Deshaun, and we'll take it from here. That's what I'm doing, and I'm letting that bum ass Baker Mayfield walk. And so this is my final one here on the final quarterback on the quarterback carousel here of the potential off season. Baker
Mm.
Mayfield. What's next for him?
Baker Mayfield's going on the bench, dude. Baker Mayfield's riding pine, dude. Ain't no NFL team is starting fucking Baker Mayfield right now, unless it's the Houston Texans or the fucking or the Jackson. Not even the Jags because they have Trevor Lawrence. You send that bum to Houston. You send that bum to the Giants. You actually, yeah, you know what? Send that bum to the New York Giants, dude. That's where Baker Mayfield's going, dude. Oh my god. But knowing Sean Payton and how much dick he sucks as a coach, he'll do something like stupid. Like he'll be like, you know what? Maybe Taysom Hill actually isn't that guy after like, you know, maybe my son Taysom Hill isn't that guy, and I'll sign bum Mayfield, dude. Terrible decisions made over there in that front office, but yeah, what do you think fucking this guy's doing?
I think he should learn his French because he's heading over to the CFL, bro. He's terrible. The Texans would be a good fit because they both suck, you know? But it's just like, I just never bought this hype on this Baker Mayfield, you know? Like, even when he's picked number one, I was like, why? Like, why? Why would you do this? Like, it just didn't make sense. I'm just not that big a fan. And, you know, this undisputed debate is amazing. Like, you know, because on First Take, the big rift was the Cowboys. Because Stephen A. hates the Cowboys, and Skip is a diehard Cowboy fan. So that was kind of the crux of that show. But Shannon doesn't care about the Cowboys, you know? Like, Shannon's like he feels how most of America really feels about the Cowboys. Like, okay, like, we know what's going to happen with the Cowboys. Like, they're going to do whatever, and then they'll probably lose first, second round if they even make the playoffs. But now they found it. Like, it used to be LeBron, and that's kind of getting stale. LeBron's getting a little older. This Baker Mayfield thing, they're just going to war every day on there, bro. Skip, dude. The Baker Mayfield
supporters, dude. The Baker Mayfield supporters are so delusional, dude. It's so crazy, dude. It's so crazy. Dude, there's nothing that can fix Baker Mayfield, dude. He's in Carson Wentz territory. He can't be fixed, dude. You can bring him to the Pats, and we fix like mentally ill people, dude. You know what I mean?
Dude. With Baker, it's like he threw like, it should have been 5 interceptions. It could have been 5 or 6 interceptions in that Packers game. And Skip's like, yeah, I give it a B. Like, what? Like, what are you talking about? It's like, well, those picks, there was pass interference. Like, no, there wasn't because it wasn't called. So there wasn't pass interference. Because otherwise it wouldn't have been a pick. Would have been Skip.
You know what Baker Mayfield should do? He should take off 3 years, dude. He should take off 3 years, and he should go to the TB12 facility, dude. And that's where he should spend the next 3 years of his life. And he should be grateful, thankful that Brady would bring him in, because Brady fixes people, dude. He fixed AB, made him into a God-fearing man, and he might be able to do the same for Baker Mayfield. But that's Mayfield's only hope.
He should call up NFL Network, see if they're hiring. They probably are.
Yeah.
He'd be a great analyst. He's funny. He's smart. But, you know, as a quarterback, it's like, you know, this whole Baker Odell beef, it's pretty clear who's at fault here. Because Odell hasn't been there for a few weeks now, maybe even a month, and Baker has... Would you say he's improved? I would say he hasn't improved a whole lot. The record certainly hasn't improved.
Yeah. Well, but before we wrap things up, do you want to get anything off your chest? I know it's been it might have been a tough weekend. I don't know if you have any words to say.
About what, my Chargers?
yeah, you know, the Bolts, dude.
Dude, your Pats had a worse loss, in my opinion.
It was a tough loss. It was it was terrible.
Both of us had bad ones. You know, it's one of those things where it's like, all right, like, you don't want to lose to the Texans, but it's like, if losing to the Texans is like, all right, like, if we can't we had a lot of people out with COVID, so they all come back for the Broncos game. If we don't beat the Broncos or the Raiders, it's one of those things. It's like, all right, then I don't want to see us in the playoffs anyway. Like, if we can't beat those two terrible teams, it's like, then why are we in the playoffs? But, you know, I love our future regardless. It's like, I'll take Herbert and Staley for the next 10 years. Bosa and Eckler and Keenan will be there for the next 5 because they're locked up. As long as they can find a way to keep Mike Williams and Derwin, this team's going to be fine going forward. So it might not be this year, but I like what happened. We beat the Chiefs. We should have beat the Cowboys. The refs took that game away, but whatever. We beat Joe Burrow at Cincinnati. Like, there are a lot of highs this season, and, as a Charger fan, there's a lot of lows too. So they're all.
Damn, are you wrapping your season up already, dude? You're sounding like you're fucking throwing in the towel, dude.
No, I mean, if we win out, we'll probably make the playoffs, and we should have been in the playoffs all along. I think we're just as good as any team in the AFC, to be honest. Like, the only team who scares me. I'm not afraid of the Chiefs because we match up well with them, but like if we play the Titans or the Ravens, we would probably lose to those teams just because we would lose to teams that can run the ball. Like, that's something that has to be changed next year. Like, the reason we lost, other than the COVID shit, and Herbert played kind of not bad, but like mid, like Rex Burkhead ran for like 200 yards. Like, that can't happen. Like, it can't happen. So that has to be a big change.
And the Patriots find a way. The Patriots find a way.
Dude, the Patriots can miss the playoffs. What if you go into Jacksonville and Trevor Lawrence just says, "I'm tired of the disrespect," and just goes off?
Listen, I promise you, Ginger, I promise you on the podcast, if that happens, I promise you, I will find a Florida man at a bar at a Buffalo Wild Wings, and I will kill the first I will murder a Jacksonville Jaguars fan if that happens. I swear on my life, dude. All right. So yeah, thank you so much for tuning in to another episode of the Ginger and
Soul podcast. Next week, we'll do a little NFL playoff preview, and we'll likely discuss the NBA All-Star Game. It's coming up, all on the Ginger and Soul podcast. Tune in next time.
Pew, pew, pew.